button. My bad. It is Jordan Love. Many people think that Jordan Love is overpaid. He's the highest paid quarterback or the highest overpaid quarterback in the NFL. And I believe you are a firm believer of this as well. But me personally, I think the highest overpaid quarterback in the NFL is Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson got that $240 million guaranteed money, 4 years ago. Since then, he has played a total of 6 games for the Cleveland Browns. So, Combs, I want you to convince me that Deshaun Watson is not the most overpaid quarterback in the NFL.
Well, the Deshaun Watson's contract came while he was in the middle of a 2-year suspension.
It seemed forever, wasn't it? Good Lord.
It was insane the amount of time where he was not playing football, and to give him that contract at the time really didn't make sense to me either. But since then he's just been struggling with injuries. Now, if he's healthy and he's half of what he was when he was in Houston, he's not the most overpaid quarterback in football. If you want to talk about injuries, I mean, look, we could talk about an injury. I don't think Jordan Love's overpaid now because he's not going to be playing for the next 3 to 4 weeks. I think Jordan Love is overpaid because when you watch Jordan Love make throws like he was making all night on Friday night, where he's on his back foot and he's just throwing the ball up, he did that about 5 or 6 times last night. He is a guy that played 8 solid games last year and 8 really bad games last year. And he got a contract because they were in a position where they had already picked up his 5th-year option, and they had to give him a contract extension in order for him to play for the Green Bay Packers. They had to make a choice. And since they've had him as a successor, since they did go to the playoffs with him as their quarterback, which was questionable at times, and they did go into Dallas and beat the hell out of the Cowboys. But he single-handedly, the last pass against the 49ers was an interception.
Right.
The guy will throw a ton of interceptions. He throws off his back foot. He makes bad decisions constantly. Jordan Love, to me, is definitely the most overpaid quarterback in the league right now, and it's based off of play and not off of injury.
Yeah, so when you think of the overpaidness, right, of the NFL, general rule of thumb in the NFL right now is the next quarterback up for a contract is going to be the highest paid quarterback, right? Trevor Lawrence, highest paid quarterback, right? Or for 3 days or whatever it was. Did he deserve it? Absolutely not. Trevor Lawrence is a below average quarterback. Let's just be honest. What has he done? He's won 1 playoff game versus a LA Chargers team that totally collapsed with 28 point or 38 point, whatever it was. Yeah, it was a pure Brandon Staley collapse. I suck at life, basically. But then you look at, Joe Burrow, injury prone guy, really hasn't played a full NFL season except for the one time they went to the Super Bowl, overpaid, yada, yada, yada. So long story short is I understand why the Packers paid Jordan Love the money. They could have franchise tagged him. They could have rolled the dice. He could have had an MVP year, and they could be paying him $300 million, $65 million a season if they would have waited 1 year or 2 years if they decided to franchise tag him those 2, if not 3 years. So to say that he's overpaid, potentially, but I don't think so because really the Packers got a really, really good deal because at the time he was the highest paid quarterback. Now he's 6 on the list? I mean,
if you think $50 million for a guy who's going to win you, who might keep you around 9-8, 8-9 every year, Jordan Love's not that guy who's going to get you to that next level. Jordan Love. I'm putting it out there right now. Jordan Love will never win a Super Bowl.
And honestly, I mean, I got to know the extent of his injury. I think John said he's out 4 to 6 weeks. You said
it's
3
to
weeks.
4.
Right.
It's an MC sprain. He'll be out for about 3 to 4 weeks.
But to be honest, the Packers are built to win right now. They have a young receiving core that's just improving week after week after week. Jordan Love, yes, he's going to get set back a little bit for these 3 or 4 weeks, but he'll continue to improve. And then you have a defense that's stellar.
Yeah, I don't know if they're built to win now. I mean, look, their defense is pretty good. I do like their defense a lot, but you got a wide receiving core that like Christian Watson can't stay healthy. Like you're waiting for you watch his bones disintegrate every time he runs a route, and you're looking at Romeo Doubs. Romeo Doubs could be a dude, but you're sitting there running out Christian Watson as your wide receiver one every week, and nobody's really paying attention to him because nobody's scared of him. And then not to mention, I mean, if you watched, there was a couple times last night where they had guys wide open, and Jordan Love was just missing the throws, and that was something that I saw out of him last year, and I didn't see that. And it was funny to me was because all of the Green Bay Packer fans were sitting there watching Jordan Love talking about, oh, we got it right again, and I kind of agree with them. I think that they didn't completely go bust with Jordan Love, but a lot of the things that you see out of Jordan Love, you were seeing out of Justin Fields. You were seeing a lot of these overthrows, these miscues, these underthrows, these bad passes, throwing off the back foot, just throwing the ball up instead of just either taking a sack or throwing the ball out of bounds. And they were just, I mean, Justin Fields was just getting shit on. Meanwhile, Jordan Love was getting over here and he's getting $50 million a year.
So are you saying that the Packers are blinded by the one season success of the last 10 games of the season by beating the Dallas Cowboys, by losing the San Francisco 49ers? Like, so they're completely blinded by that. They don't, nothing the last previous 4 years shown that he could be a leader or an outstanding quarterback in the NFL.
No, he seems like he can be a leader. He seems like he can be a guy that can command the locker room and a guy that, his teammates seem to rally around. But they also have a really young team. I think that if you put Jordan Love on a veteran team, if you put Jordan Love on a team that has a really good quarterback, not named Malik Willis, on their roster, Jordan Love might have to compete for his job. Like if you put Jordan Love in the Steelers situation that Russell Wilson is in now, he's competing with Justin Fields for the starting job. It's not going to be just, oh yeah, you're going to start. He's going to lose his job quickly if he's in an environment where they have somebody that can replace him.
So let me ask you this question. Earlier, I think it was 2 weeks ago, I put out my top 10 quarterbacks that I think it like how they're going to finish the 2024 NFL season. I had Jordan Love at number 7. If you were to rank the quarterbacks how they're going to finish 2024, not how they are now mid-season, how they're going to finish, what do you think Jordan Love would rank in that?
Probably somewhere between 15 to 20.
So you think he's a below average quarterback?
He's a mid-level quarterback. He's not terrible, but he's not going to be a guy that you're like, yeah, this guy can win me a Super Bowl.
So
there's no way you could look at Jordan Love and be like, yeah, this guy, the way he is right now. I mean, just go back and watch some of those throws from last night before he got hurt. Obviously, he got hurt on the last play of the game, or the second to last play of the game.
Right.
You watch some of these throws where they're coming in and he just gets so scared because he's already been hit once or twice, and he just from his back foot just throws the ball up. And it's week 1. Defenses aren't taking advantage of it because I'm telling you right now, if this game is played in week 7 or 8 and he's making those same passes, he probably throws 6 interceptions in that game yesterday.
Ooh, tough. Over here at YouTube, he says you are clearly just being a leader, or being a hater. Last year he led the league in touchdowns, almost led the league in touchdowns.
I almost screwed the supermodel one time. Like it doesn't matter. Yeah, I'm not being a hater on Jordan Love. I just said he's not terrible. I just don't think he's great. He's not. If my franchise was hooked on him, it's the same way that it was hooked on when it was hooked on. God, I'm gonna forget his name. Not Justin Fields, but Mitch Trubisky. I looked at him like, you can't pay this guy.
Yeah,
can't pay this guy because he is doing. Jordan Love right now, if he was on the Pittsburgh Steelers, we would have had a quarterback competition the same way they had one with Russell Wilson and Justin Fields.
He probably would have won the quarterback competition.
He might have.
Yeah,
he might have. But I don't think it's as wide open as everybody thinks that it is. And that's why I'm glad he's only out 3 to 4 weeks. I'm glad it wasn't an ACL, and I'm glad he's not, because I don't want any excuses come week 11. And they might win. They might beat the Bears. I think that the Bears are a better football team. I think the Bears have a better roster than the Packers finally, and it's something I've never really been able to say. I think that they're better at the quarterback position, but I don't want the Packers fans to have any excuses. And if he plays a game like he played last night versus that Chicago Bears defense, the Chicago Bears defense is going to eat him alive.
Yeah, only time will tell. Luckily, he should be back by the time the Bears and Packers do play here in week 9, I think is the first time that they play. Week 11. So we'll definitely get that in there. Hopefully, we'll get to see some stuff here. But my man Jim Powell says Kenny Pickett is the only hope now. Will Levis, don't worry, or not Will Levis, Malik Willis, whatever, bring over Kenny Pickett, he says.
Is Pickett a free agent?
I think he he got signed to the Seahawks practice squad, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm not 100%.
Yeah, but you can go get a guy from a practice squad. I believe the NFL rules are like you can
yeah, you can get.
I don't know if you can sign him to a contract, or maybe you have to give a draft, like a 7th round draft pick compensation or something. There's something to it that if they're on the practice squad, they can take a job elsewhere.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, if you pick a guy up from another team's practice squad, you have to sign him to the active roster the following week.
Right.
Like you just can't switch practice squads. So, James Frank is in the chat as well. He says if you got Love at 7, Jared Goff is at 5 or 6, and yeah, I do have Jared Goff as a top 5 quarterback.